help me help you. Hello and welcome to Emma's ESL English. Today we are talking about Tom Cruise. Famous quotes from Tom Cruise. Born July 3rd, 1962, so it's his birthday in a couple of days, hence why we're doing this. He's an actor and producer, obviously. One of the world's highest paid actors, with movies grossing over $13.2 billion worldwide. You might be old enough to remember the shirt and underpants entrance from Risky Business in 1983. Maybe you remember the 1986 Great Balls of Fire duet with Maverick and Goose from Top Gun. Tom Cruise has had an active and wildly successful career. So today we're going to talk about some of his most famous movies and some quotes from those movies. One of his most famous roles is as Ethan Hunt from the Mission Impossible film series. This year saw the release of The Final Reckoning, the 8th film from this series in which Tom Cruise famously does all of his own stunts. There are some movies that stick in the mind, not just for Tom Cruise, but also because of the accompanying cast. I surely can't be the only one who cried the first and possibly second and third time that we lost Goose in Top Gun. That's where we first heard the famous catchphrase, "I feel the need for speed." 10 years later, Tom Cruise would star with Cuba Gooding and Renee Zellweger in Jerry Maguire. A film that really shouldn't have been that exciting. It was basically a romantic comedy, sort of based around a sports agent who loses his job and then gets a little crazy for a while. Logically, it shouldn't have been a great movie. It didn't really follow a lot of the traditional tropes from a romantic comedy or a sports movie. It sort of magically succeeded in putting all of these elements together to make something really cool. But I have to say, I think that it was the actors that really made that a success. The character of Renee Zellweger, this young mother who's trying her best, and Tom Cruise's character, this breakdown of this super famous sports agent who decides that he wants to be a good guy, and everybody's like, what? And then Cuba Gooding playing this sports star who's been left behind. Nobody really wants to book him anymore, but Tom Cruise can really see the potential in him for the future. And it's the confrontations and the friendship that builds between these characters that really makes the film something quite special. And again, from that movie, we have lots and lots of quotable moments. If you search for Tom Cruise quotes, Jerry Maguire comes up a lot from all three of those characters. Perhaps the most famous of which is the "help me, help you, help me, help you" from Tom Cruise, and the "show me the money" from Cuba Gooding. The 1992 movie, A Few Good Men, is filled with an all-star cast who all deliver brilliant lines. This movie is a courthouse movie, which at that point was really super common, was a very popular genre of movies. We don't see it as much these days. Tom Cruise's main character, Daniel Kaffee, is a lawyer in the military. And this particular case is two young men are brought in a murder, and his job is to get them off. And the more that he digs into this case, the stranger it seems to be, and finally he realizes that he's dealing with a case where the person in charge has given a command that ended up in somebody's death. And who do we blame in this situation? Do we blame the man who gave the command, or do we blame the people who carried it out? And this is one of the pivotal questions of the movie, but certainly the pivotal scene of the movie is in the courthouse, where Daniel is confronting Colonel Jessup, played by Jack Nicholson. Colonel Jessup is in charge of his base. He knows everything that's been going on. He is a typical proud American military man. He knows what he's doing. And here comes Daniel Coffey to tell him he's doing it wrong. So he gets a little angry. If you get a chance, do Google this scene. It is superb and very, very satisfying when he finally gets the answer that he's looking for. The beginning of this part of the movie, which has this really escalating tone and loud shouting, Daniel Coffey says, "I want the truth." And Colonel Jessup says, "You can't handle the truth." Very, very cool movie. Finally, we have another movie from Cameron Crowe, who was also involved in Jerry Maguire. This movie, again, another all-star cast, but this movie was a little weird to me. It's a guy telling his life story from the future, talking to a psychiatrist. It's all a little weird. It's a little bit strange. You're kind of getting flashbacks and things. I went to the movies to watch this one. It came out in 2001, so I would have been at university at that point. I was going to the cinema a lot when I was at university and should have been studying. And I watched this movie and came out a little bit like, I'm not so sure about that. But I did buy the soundtrack, because the soundtrack was amazing. It's got Paul McCartney, it's got Sigur and Ross. It's just so, so good. So definitely take a look at the soundtrack. Maybe miss the movie. Let me know in the comments if you're a fan of Vanilla Sky or Magnolia or any of the weirder movies that Tom Cruise has done. So in this movie, I wanted to end today's episode on the line from this movie, which is pretty good. Do you remember what you told me once? That every passing minute is another chance to turn it all around. Such an inspirational idea on which we'll end today's episode. Please like and subscribe and comment to help this channel grow. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.